Why and how Donald Trump lost the presidential election is not that hard to decipher. There were few factors that led to the defeat of an incumbent president, Donald Trump, without completing the second term. The two most important reasons go as follows. The first reason being the absence of unity among the Republicans. Trump was an outsider to the American polity. If you look at all the presidential candidates from American Revolution in 1776 till now, you would find that they all began their political career from scratch. They started their journey from being the governor of a state or senator or holding any public office like Kamala Harris had. But Donald Trump became an exception to this rule. He is a business tycoon and made most of his money from entertainment and real estate. Trump's political affiliation changed numerous times. He was a Democrat once for a decade and went back to the Republican Party in 2009. Basically, lodakna lota tha Trump. In 1999, Trump sought the nomination of the Reform Party for the 2009 presidential election. Later, Trump dropped out of the race and Republican George W. Bush won the presidency, defeating Al Gore. Trump speculated about running against President Barack Obama in 2012 elections, but dropped out later. Trump's presidential ambitions were generally not taken seriously by the political elite at that time. But Trump accelerated his ferocious effort to gain stature within the political world after Obama lampooned him at the White House presidential dinner in 2011. Donald Trump was not even a serious political enthusiast a decade ago, but that White House dinner changed everything in a stroke. In this White House dinner, President Obama made fun of Donald Trump and embarrassed him in front of everyone present. And Donald Trump, being who he is, got pissed off and started to shape his ambitions about American presidency so that he could teach Barack Obama a lesson. So he did not have many allies in the Republican Party, as him being an outsider to the mainstream politics. In fact, some Republicans even started the Never Trump campaign. And even noted Republicans and 2012 Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney openly campaigned against Donald Trump in 2016 as well as in 2020 elections. Donald Trump's rise among Republicans was unanticipated and unwanted, and his open attack calling Mexican immigrants rapists and policy of America First and the rising terror attacks in last decade and constant war in Libya and Syria under Obama. These decisions made Trump favorable among all Republicans in 2016 election. Though Trump lost to Hillary in popular vote by 3 million votes, but ended up winning the presidency in 2016 by electoral votes. Meanwhile, a vast majority of Republican politicians did not back Donald Trump, and this lack of support manifested in Biden's victory over Trump in 2020. But one thing is very surprising, that not only Joe Biden broke the record of Obama's popular votes with 7.5 crore votes, but Trump as well broke Obama's record with 7 crore votes. And that's surprising, as Biden is just 50 lakh votes ahead of maniacal Trump. And more surprisingly, Trump got this many votes without much support from the Republican elite. The second reason being the unity among Democrats. All the Democrats, be it the support base of Obama or Bernie Sanders, got along to defeat the Donald Trump. This election was not much about choosing Biden as much as it was about defeating Donald Trump. All Democrats and many Republicans considered Trump a threat to the states. These presumption of Trump being a threat to America even made majority of Hollywood stars campaign openly against Trump. This was probably the most polarized election in the history of the United States. Indo-Americans, who Trump tried to lure by hugging Modi, voted overwhelmingly against Trump. In fact, all immigrants, be it blacks or Asians, are a traditional vote bank of the Democrats, and Trump even antagonized them further by curbing H-1B visa norms on the pretext of saving American jobs. And the nomination of Kamala Harris as the vice candidate turned out to be a masterstroke for the Democrats, as blacks and Asians turned out overwhelmingly to vote out Trump. And American police is traditionally hailed as Republican vote bank, and the killing of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor by the police and subsequent Black Lives Matter movement and Trump's response to this movement translated into an anti-Republican wave among Asian and African Americans. And Trump's anti-Islamic rhetoric failed to garner Indo-American votes, as his economic and verbal blow to India were much greater a cost that Indo-Americans were not willing to bear. And on the unrelated but relevant note, as far as I think, this war is far from over, as Donald Trump will likely name Ivanka Trump as a candidate for future presidential elections. As he was an outsider for American polity, but Ivanka is not, and she is not as fool as her father, and her husband, Jared Kushner, is a master strategist. And Trump may have lost the election, but he has sown the seeds of Trumpism in the states. And those 7 crore Trump voters won't miss another opportunity in the future. Donald Trump exhibited a brutal fight, quite unexpected of him, as him being an outsider in American polity. But his occasional stupidity cost him the presidency. In whole, the presidential election was about the Trump beating the Trump.